Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32? When will Kevin Owens drop the NXT Championship? And when will Samoa Joe come to the main roster? All that and much more. Keep it locked. We're on the road for the Sharpshoot with Aussie. What's going on, rope breakers, and welcome to another edition of the Sharpshoot with Aussie. This time, coming to you from on the road. That's right, I'm on my way to one of the northest, highest points in the United States of America. That's right, we're on our way to the great state of Maine. I'm on my way for some vacation, but I'm showing you the dedication right here, right now, using a selfie stick in the passenger seat of my car to record the Sharpshoot, because we got tons of stuff to talk about, and Rope Break doesn't take breaks. So without further ado, let's get right into this week's news and rumors. Obviously, if you took a look at the Stone Cold podcast on the WWE Network this past week, he had Paul Heyman on, and it was a great show as always. The two took a little more of a nostalgic turn than some of the other podcasts we've seen, with some more of the hard-hitting questions. But nevertheless, Heyman was entertaining, especially at the end of the show when Heyman asked Stone Cold if he could ask him a question, and asked the question, would you face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32? Immediately, Stone Cold seemed to get into character, took it really seriously, and told Paul, hey, listen, I'd whip Brock's ass. So to me at least, it appeared to be the beginning of an angle that was shot on that podcast. Looks like maybe that's why they brought Stone Cold back, to maybe set up some sort of feud there with him and Lesnar. Either way, I dig it. It was entertaining programming, and I'm interested to know where they go from here with that matchup. I'm interested to know what you guys think. If you think Lesnar should get in the ring with Austin, or if you think Austin's past his prime, doesn't have it anymore, blah, 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 let us know at Rope Break Wrestling, and let me know at I Am Aussie. Both of those Twitter handles are in the description here on this video. But let's move forward with some more news and rumors. There has been rumors that Samoa Joe has signed a full-time deal with WWE, and those rumors have been confirmed by RopeBreakWrestling.com. The full story is up on the website now. Joe has apparently signed a full deal with the WWE, which will bring him eventually to the main roster, but for now he will continue to fulfill his indie dates. I believe the last of his indie dates are sometime in mid-July, so I wouldn't expect to see him on the main roster until sometime around mid to late July. And with Sami Zayn probably coming back around that time, or a little bit after there, I'm not sure Joe would even jump right up just yet, because they don't want to move all of that NXT talent at once. But it'll be interesting to see exactly what they decide to do with Samoa Joe. It's great that he is actually, as my selfie stick falls apart here, it's great to see that they believe he's a main event talent, and that he's signed on to stay with the company for full time. So eventually he won't be doing any indie dates anymore, but he'll be with WWE full-time, so we'll be seeing him, like Owens, in a full-time capacity on Monday Night Raw, whether it's next year or later on this year. I'm pretty stoked about it, hoping to see that Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens feud continue on the main roster, but we'll talk a little bit about that more in the rest of our show here. That's pretty much all we've got for news and rumors this week. Those are the two big things shocking everybody right now. And let's move right forward to the real MVP segment. This week's real MVP, without a doubt, had to be, I hate to say it, but back-to-back weeks, it's John Cena. John Cena cut one hell of a promo on Monday Night Raw, and I know a lot of people are going to say, I think it should have been Kevin Owens. Owens also cut a hell of a promo. Listen, the two have been doing an excellent job with this feud. The feud has been interesting as all hell. I've loved every single second of it. It's by far the number one thing I'm looking forward to every single Monday night, is to see what those guys are doing. And they're really pulling rabbits out of hats right now. Owens came out, cut a hell of a promo, but I got to be honest with you, John Cena showing why he's still the salty veteran. I know his promos are a lot alike, but he's still putting this feud over, putting Owens over by making this a serious feud. And then he also called out the kid in the crowd with cancer. I know a lot of people thought that was a publicity stunt or him trying to get a cheap pop. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't believe that. I believe Cena really is at the core that good of a guy. And it proved after the show when he took that kid into the ring. We shared the link on our Facebook page to that video. Took the kid in the ring after the cameras were off. And, you know, made a special moment for that kid. So this week, the real MVP goes again to John Cena, the first back-to-back winner in Sharpshoot history. Congrats, John Cena. First off, I want to apologize in advance for the rest of this video, as it may be a little bit of a bumpy ride. The roads here in Massachusetts, let's just say they aren't quite paved like they do it in New York, but that's pretty much can be said about everything in Massachusetts. They don't quite play baseball like they do in New York. They don't quite play football like they do in New York. Not to bring up Deflategate or anything like that, but either way, we're still going to shoot the rest of the Sharpshoot here via this selfie stick in this car. Again, I appreciate you guys going on Twitter, going on Facebook, submitting questions for the show, doing what you can, showing your support for the Sharpshoot and for RopeBreakWrestling.com. If you want to continue to do so, if you want to continue to see the Sharpshoot on our page, on our YouTube channel, all you have to do is continue to support. And the easiest ways to do that are right away, right while I got you right now. One easy thing that you can do is just hit the like button on this video. Hit that thumbs up. Throw a comment in there to let me know what you're thinking, how you're thinking, what you want to see on the show, what you want us to do on the website, anything like that. And of course, share and subscribe. Those are the two biggest things that you can do potentially, because it gets other people involved and invested in the show and in the channel. And that, to be honest with you, is the only way that we're really going to continue to bring in the Sharpshoot, because to be honest with you, this takes a lot of work, a lot of post-production, a lot of time editing. We don't ask for tons of money. We don't ask for you to pay to watch the show. We don't do anything like that. But it does take a lot of my personal time. So the way you can keep me doing this show is just by showing your support through the comments, through the likes, through the subscriptions, all sorts of stuff like that. And like I said, just let your friends know about the show and about RopeBreakWrestling.com. Word of mouth is the biggest way to spread the virus that is RopeBreakWrestling.com. But we'll keep it rolling here. We've got It's True coming up. And this week's It's True revolves around, I don't want to say this, revolves around the Divas again. Last week I cut a pipe bomb on the creative team with the Divas. Now I've got to bring it at you again. What I want to talk about this week is, once again, the lack of storytelling with creative. This week, we got on Monday Night Raw, we got another Divas match, this time between Nikki Bella and Paige. Suddenly, Naomi's been dropped from the storyline. You get the twin magic with Brie Bella coming out from under the ring. To be honest with you, the whole thing was a disaster. I thought it sucked. And to no fault of the women themselves, I don't understand what's going on here within the Divas division. The storylines aren't lining up. They aren't making sense. They're just dropping people. I don't get it. But all I have to say is I really want to shift gears in this It's True more towards the NXT women's division, and saying that I am frightened and absolutely terrified for these young ladies to come up to the main roster. I mean, I'm excited because I know I'm going to mark out when Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, all these ladies debut on the main roster. But until then, I'm more nervous that when they do debut on the main roster, they're going to become damaged goods. You look at somebody right now like Paige, who is, a star-studded talent in NXT, and it's just being completely wasted on the WWE main roster. There's no character there at all. All we get is she comes out does the jacket thing. We get once in a while, we see a backstage thing between the two. It's just, there's nothing. There's no meat and potatoes there. There's nothing to get me invested in that Divas division. As in the NXT women's division, I'm invested in every single one of those female talents, because they're all doing their thing. They're all doing an excellent job doing so as well. So each week I'm tuned into NXT to see the women. Monday night, it continues to be, I don't really care what the Divas are doing, and that's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's WWE's fault, and they need to clean it up quick. And I really, really, really want you guys to continue using that hashtag #GiveDivas a chance. And tweet us using that hashtag along with the hashtag #Sharpshoot, and we'll give you a retweet on it. Because to be perfectly honest with you, people like Paige, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Natalya, they deserve much better than what they're getting. Naomi too. They're getting shortened time in the ring. They're not getting any time to tell stories backstage or in segments. When's the last time you saw a diva come out in the middle of the ring and cut a promo? Probably AJ Lee. That's just unacceptable. There's no way to get people invested in your talents if you're not going to give them the time or the storyline to back them up. So before you bring up those NXT women, you better find somebody to clean up that WWE main roster Divas division. It's true.
It's damn true.
Next week, it'll be my absolute pleasure to reintroduce our friend Nick the Cena fan to the Sharpshoot. Maybe we need to get some type of Vignette or something up here for Nick the Cena fan. He's been gone for a while, but if you're interested in seeing Nick the Cena fan once again and his insight on all things John Cena and just about everything else in the WWE, Nick the Cena fan will be returning to next week's Sharpshoot, so look out for that. But right now, it's time for the highest rated segment in wrestling podcast history. It's How Do You Like Me Now? Cue the music.
How do you like me now?
This week's How Do You Like Me Now comes from a question from our friend Mark Rolland on Twitter. Thanks for submitting a question, Mark. Hopefully you're seeing the show here and seeing it get answered on the show. This week we're going to talk about Sting, and his question was, when do you think we see Sting back on WWE TV? I'm thinking SummerSlam. I'm thinking not, and I'll tell you why. Sting is a unique talent, similar to The Undertaker, where I don't think he needs to make an appearance at SummerSlam. If he does so, I think the best way to do that would be in a non-wrestling role. Sting, let's face it, when he came in as Survivor Series, one of the most anticipated debuts in WWE history, without a doubt, bar none. One of the most exciting times for WWE fans that have been around for a while, myself included. And I really dug seeing Sting in the WWE. I dug what he did at WrestleMania, their match, he and Triple H. I thought it was perfectly booked, bringing in NWO DX and making sure that Sting was highlighted properly in that match. I think they did an excellent job. The problem is, I don't see Sting wrestling again at SummerSlam. I think the next time he would wrestle is a potential match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The only way I see Sting wrestling is if they want to begin that Undertaker angle at SummerSlam and maybe have some vignettes while he's wrestling or something like that. I don't know what they're going to do, but the only way I see Sting wrestling is in that case. Otherwise, I would love to see Sting in a role on TV, like a general manager, or just coming out and tormenting the Authority or something like that more often. But I don't think that Sting needs to wrestle at this point. He's only got a few matches left in the tank. You guys know that just as well as I do. I know when he hops in that ring, it's a mark-out moment for everybody. But Sting fans, I'm going to have to tell you, I don't think he should wrestle again until WrestleMania. So, how do you like me now?
How do you like me now?
And in this short on-the-road version of the Sharpshoot this week, we've got our Sharpshoot segment, Shut Up GPS. The Oz is trying to talk on the Sharpshoot. Can't you listen? That's right. Sometimes you got to tell the GPS who's boss. But either way, this week on the Sharpshoot, we're taking the question from Aaron Mason, who asks, when do you expect... Can you believe the nerve of this GPS continuing to cut me off? Cut the great one off on the Great One Show, the Sharpshoot. Anyways, Aaron Mason asked the question, when do you expect Kevin Owens to drop the NXT Championship? And Aaron, great question. I told you from the get-go on our Twitter page at Rope Break Wrestling that was Sharpshoot material, and it certainly was. That's why we're covering it in the Sharpshoot segment. NXT title, it's a big topic right now with Kevin Owens and him signing that main roster deal. He's going to stay on the main roster. He's going to be on all the pay-per-views coming up. So what do they do with the NXT Championship? That's the big question. Nobody knows. We do know that tonight on SmackDown, Kevin Owens is set to have an NXT Championship match of some sort. He's going to do the NXT Championship Open Challenge. So we've got that coming for us. I don't know. I haven't looked at the spoilers yet, so I can't tell you whether or not somebody's going to win the title. But I have to be honest with you. If somebody's going to take the title from Kevin Owens, I believe they're going to do that at NXT on an NXT show. Probably the next NXT pay-per-view. I don't know what the deal would be, but I know Finn Balor is that #1 contender. I know they've had the Samoa Joe segment. They could probably have Samoa Joe come and cost Kevin Owens the title. I don't know what they would do there, but there's tons of ways they can go with it, Aaron. I think that the best way would probably to have Finn Balor take that championship with Samoa Joe helping him out to get that victory. And then maybe you see Samoa Joe vie for the NXT Championship up against Finn Balor at some point, who knows. But I think the Joe Owens feud needs to continue on the main roster. And I think when they started that angle in NXT, they weren't yet expecting Owens to stay up on the main roster. I think when he came up, had that match with Cena a couple weeks ago, people were thinking immediately, this guy's got to stay now. He came up and made such a big impact. There's no way he's going to be able to come off of TV now. So I think Finn Balor is the proper option to take the NXT Championship. I think right now he's the hottest thing in NXT, maybe with the exception of Kevin Owens, and obviously Samoa Joe's new. But right now the biggest face, without a doubt, in NXT, aside from probably Enzo Amore, is Finn Balor. So I think Finn Balor taking that championship makes the most sense. That's pretty much going to do it for this week's episode of the Sharpshoot. I apologize for the camera shaking and all sorts of other issues that we had on the road here, but I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Like I said, make sure you just throw us a thumbs up on this video. Hit subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. That way you don't miss next week's episode and the return of Nick the Cena Fan. Make sure you head over to Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling. Send us your topic suggestions and questions for next week's show, and you might get called out like Aaron and Mark did this week. So thanks for submitting those questions, guys. And until next week, this has been the Sharpshoot. If you smell what the Oss is cooking.